Hey guys, and welcome to another vlog. I have been vlogging little parts of the wedding planning process for the past year or so at this point. And I thought it would be fun to show you a couple pieces of the behind the scenes of the wedding planning process. By the time you watch this video, I will be in Italy for my wedding. Ian proposed to me in September of 2023 and it is 2026 and the wedding is finally happening. We are so excited. So I have a bunch of the behind the scenes on my DIY invitations that I did, my wedding dress alterations process, which was the worst part of this entire planning. Ian and I did first dance lessons, which was really fun, and a bunch of other little things. So we will be kind of jumping around in the timeline in this video. So please enjoy. So basically for my invitations, what I wanted was a relatively simple invite, but then with a watercolor picture of the venue. And a lot of the Etsy sellers who do this for very cheap are definitely just like AI generating the venue image. But I found this one person on Etsy. I'll put her up here. Her name is Mari Graphic. And not only was she very reasonably priced, let's see what I paid. I paid $100 for her to take a picture of my venue and to turn it into a watercolor painting, and she gives you the digital copy, which is amazing. But I also paid her $160 to paint a map of my venue, which I guess I will update later on in the vlog, but after I actually do this. But I want to do some actual printouts of maybe a trifold of the wedding weekend for when people actually get there, and then I want to include the map in that. I didn't print the map for the invitation because that just added on a lot of the cost, and I was like, do we really need that, or can we just have it at the actual wedding? But I will show you guys the images of my invites. But she did an amazing job, so I highly recommend. So if we're doing a final tally of how much I spent on my invitations, $100 for the actual painting, and basically I turned that around and put the watercolor. I think she may have sent it with a removed background, but you can remove the background on Canva. I basically did this on Canva because I did all my thumbnails and things like that on Canva, so I'm very comfortable with it. So I inserted that, and I actually just used a stock template from Canva that already had some colors chosen out, some fonts chosen out. So had all that, edited the date and the time and all that. We went back and forth a lot. Some people like to say on Saturday, June the 13th, and write out 13th, but I felt that was whenever people do that, I have to think for a moment. I just would rather just have the number. So we just did the numbers. So that is one part of my invitation. And then you can also choose what is on the back. I ended up doing just a soft background color, so it wasn't just stark white on the back. And they also didn't charge anymore to print on the back. And then they have different paper options. I went with the hemp paper, and I thought it would be a little bit more papery, but I definitely am glad I did the hemp paper because I think the premium paper or the deluxe paper would have definitely been too thin. So I went with the hemp paper, and I will show you what that looks like. All the hemp papers have an uncoated finish. I did square corners because round corners, again, an additional cost, and who really cares? And then I ended up printing 100 invitations, which was $100. I probably could have done 50 and then 25, and it would have been a little bit cheaper, but now I just have some extra invitations, and then they just print it for you. I did also print one more, and then I'm just having people RSVP on my website. So basically what I did was I printed out this kind of double page of the kindly respond, and then I cut it in half and only ordered 50 of them, and then I had 100. So that saved money. It was $50 for that, and that covered everything. So we're up to $250. Invitations get so expensive, but it was super easy to print on Canva. It also came very quickly. And then these are the envelopes I got. I think, how many did I get? Okay, it's 50 envelopes. So I did order 2 packs. So that was $32 for the envelopes. I went with the sage green, and they're actually very nice quality envelopes. And then I actually ordered these little fake wax seals because I'm not going to sit there and actually wax seal everything. I ordered them on AliExpress for $4.92. Again, also came relatively quickly, and Ian really wanted these vellum paper wraps, and again, they're all kind of the same. So I ordered 80 of those, and they ended up being $30. So, and then we had to buy stamps, but the invitations were all under an ounce, so it worked out. I didn't have to buy additional stamps. So we can tally all that up, and that is how much I spent on my invitations. I feel I've seen some invitation suites going for $800 to $1,000, so this is definitely cheaper, and now I can still send out more if I need to. Okay, here's the invitation box that all the Canva stuff came in. So these are the little vellum paper wraps from AliExpress, and one side the color is a little bit more bold and then the other side the color is a bit more muted. I kind of liked the muted color, and there's like a very soft line for you to fold them on, so you do have to fold them yourself, but we got the hang of it. I basically did all the invitations in like an hour. Here are the envelopes. The paper has a little bit of texture to it. It's nice and soft. You can easily print on them, and then you just have to like wet the edge. So a very traditional envelope, but I thought they were nice, even though the Amazon reviews were like a little bit mixed. These are all of the little wax stamps. They are definitely a little bit more bronze than gold, but it actually goes with the invitation. So it worked out well, and basically you just unstick the back and then stick it on to the vellum paper wrap. And then here's how the invitations came. The colors on my computer didn't look quite as different, and unfortunately Canva does not let you get a proof, but they will reprint everything for you if you don't like it. We just like were on a quick turnaround time, and honestly I'm not one to care about like all the little details. Like no one is gonna care if the colors are a little bit off. I also had someone message me and they were like, oh, I'm glad that you also don't care about the envelopes. Like people like get like custom, stamps. People get like custom stamps and like make sure their stamps are nice and pretty for their envelope, which if you want to do that, you certainly can. But the envelope is like the first thing that gets thrown away. I have never once looked at someone's stamp on an envelope and thought, that doesn't go with the envelope. So no, we just got like the basic cheap stamps from USPS. Anyways, here is how the invitations turned out. I think they look really nice. This is the hemp paper. It's definitely thick, but it doesn't have like a raw paper look. And I know it says unfinished, but it's still like, it doesn't have a shine to it, but it does feel somewhat finished. So it doesn't have that like veiny, like cottony paper texture. So in case you were wondering about the hemp paper from Canva, this is it. And then we got the double kindly respond cards, and then I just cut them in half myself with my paper guillotine. So I'm just gonna show you how I put together one of them. And then it also has like little measurements of how far. I forget exactly where I put it at halfway, but you can really only do 1 or 2 of these at a time because the paper is so thick. I think it's meant to be able to do like 7 pieces of paper at a time, but because this is so thick, this is already like multiple pieces of paper thick. So we slice it, and we have some nice little kindly respond cards. And then I take my little vellum paper. So this is like the dull side and this is the bold side. And I like having the dull side on the outside because I just feel like it goes with the vibe better. Okay, clearly not my best work because I haven't done these in a minute. So they're normally more even than this, okay? I did try to make them even. And then you just slide your little invitations in. The vellum paper goes on the outside. Unstick the little wax seal, and boom, we have an invitation. And even though I was hoping that the wax seal would be a bit more gold, I do think it goes with the roof color on the venue, so it actually does work out. And then you just slide it right into the envelope, seal it up, and we have invitations. But I hope that helps, and I feel like the biggest thing was just like knowing that you can just buy envelopes on Amazon and print them at home like very easily. But yeah, it was a fun little crafty project. We definitely could have made it cheaper if I didn't have like the custom painted watercolor venue, but like I feel like that's the best part. So, and then I thought I could import my address list into Canva and have them print envelopes for me. The envelope printing was like one of the most difficult things to figure out because I called like 3 different printer places and none of them will print on envelopes. Turns out you can print on your own envelopes and it's actually so easy. So let me show you how to print on an envelope. So you're gonna start with your template, and obviously you actually have your address up there, but I'm not putting my address on there for obvious reasons. This is just a test. So you have to have a separate section for name, address, and then city, state, zip. And then if you go to the bulk create feature on Canva, you can upload data. Okay, I created a test file for you guys. So we are going to import this, and then you go to connect data. So name is going to go with name from the Excel file. You basically just have to click on the things on Canva and then click on the corresponding column from your Excel spreadsheet. So name, I had name. And then address, I had address, and then city, state, zip, I have city, state, zip. And then if you go to continue, I just entered one, so it would just be one design, and then it did it. So it creates it in a separate thing, but as you can see, it has test address, and then I just put Los Angeles, California. So that is how you do all the addresses, and if you have everything in the spreadsheet in the correct way, it just uploads it all and then creates all different envelopes. So then if you click share, and you click download, and what's the best one for printing? And then for some reason CMYK, it's all black anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then if you just download it, then you get this little envelope format, and then you click print, and you go to your printer, you click more settings, and you click paper size. But I know that you can do like a custom size, and most letters are the A7 size. So if you do the A7 size, you just put your paper into the printer, prints it right out, boom. All right, we are officially 5 weeks out from the wedding, and we are going to pick up our wedding bands today, which is exciting. We worked with the same jeweler who did my ring, and I'm just getting like a simple band. Ian is getting a band as well, and we are going to pick them up today. They're supposed to have like a little engraving on the inside, so excited to see those details and everything. So we got our wedding rings in. Make sure to account for your rings when you're thinking about your wedding budget, because gold is expensive. It's like actually the most expensive it's like ever been, which is great. Anyways, we got my ring and Ian's ring. Mine was cheaper because it's a lot thinner. For a while, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do an actual like wedding band, because I really like my engagement ring as is, but I used to wear this little ring that Ian and I got like years ago. Essentially, they were kind of like our promise rings in college, but they were super cheap, and it was like rusting a lot under my gloves. Like, it was not a high quality ring, but we were college kids. Anyways, since my engagement ring sits very low, you can't like easily stack a ring with it. The jeweler that we use likes kind of an imperfect look, and like I feel like I'm okay with it as well. So if I want to do that, I'll just wear it on this finger. But if I don't feel like doing that, I might just wear it on my other hand, because I don't care about the rules. Anyways, here are our rings. This is my engagement ring. This is what I mean by like it sits kind of low. I also have these little metal beads that they placed to help my ring from like flopping to one side, which they actually really help. Anyways, on the inside of my engagement ring, we have mine and Ian's birthstones, and then they also put that on Ian's ring. And then my engagement ring has this like hammered metal finish, so we did that on my wedding band as well. And then we have our wedding dates engraved into the band. This is my handwriting on Ian's and Ian's handwriting on mine. So Ian also has the hammered metal finish, but his is not quite as glossy. So I will just try mine on. Unfortunately, I have skinny fingers but wide knuckles, which is like a common problem. Please ignore how orange my hands are, but this is what it would look like if I just layered them. So it doesn't sit flush together, but I kind of don't care. So anyways, those are our rings. So exciting. And then of course, right before the wedding, I'm gonna clean my ring. I know oftentimes people like go to get it cleaned, but I have a little ultrasonic cleaner. So usually it gets pretty clean in there. So that's what I'm gonna do. So we never ended up using the little map from my invitations that we got made by the Etsy artist on my actual invitations. So I figured we'd print those out along with the full wedding weekend itinerary and just leave them in the guest room so they have like a schedule of events as well as a little map. So I will show you what we got. So here is the final result. We got this like green situation going. So we do kind of have a full weekend of events, which you kind of have to if you're doing a destination wedding, but I'm so excited to spend time with people. Anyways, we're checking in on Thursday. So then on Friday, we thought it would be fun to do a group tour of Lucca, which is the city that my venue is in. Anyone I know who's been to Lucca has absolutely loved it, so I thought this would be a nice way to like tour the city altogether. Plus it was just something I wanted to do. Then we have a welcome pizza party at a winery right next door. The wedding, of course, guests are arriving at 4:45. Then the day after, we're doing a farewell brunch at a restaurant in town that my mom actually coordinated. So this will be on the back of the invitation. I honestly just can't get over how well this artist did. This is literally like a watercolor painting that like she transformed into like a downloadable PDF, and then now I'm getting it printed for this. But that is our whole little situation. We also added this little Italy stamp at the bottom. It says Pisa because Pisa is like very close to Lucca, but I just thought it was cute. So, and since I ordered my invitations, Canva has stepped it up. Before they only had premium, deluxe, and hemp paper, but now they have pearl and linen paper. So I actually got this printed on the linen paper. So we will be able to see how the linen paper is compared to the deluxe paper. And I only printed out 50 of these. We have 60 guests confirmed. Yes, we invited over 100 people. My initial estimate, I was like, I just threw out a number. Sometimes I do have this gift to like just guess things exactly, but I was like, we're gonna have 60 guests. We have exactly 60 guests. So anyways, I'm only printing out 50 because I figured I would just leave like one in each room. So we'll see when these arrive. And even with the more expensive paper, it was only like $1 per printout. So 50 bucks, not too bad. Okay, you guys, they arrived. They actually came in less than a week. That's the great thing about Canva. It tells you it's gonna take up to like 3 weeks, but they come so quickly. So here are the printouts. I thought I did rounded corners on the original invitations. Turns out I did not, because when I did the original invites, it said it was going to be more money to do the rounded corners, but now I guess it's not more money. So anyways, let's take a look. Here it is. The colors turned out really nice. I feel like the print quality looks really good here. And I used the linen paper, and you definitely can feel a little bit of that linen texture. It's not like a cottony feel. It still does have more of a sleek feel, but I will say I do prefer the linen paper texture. And then our beautiful map on the back, it turned out so nice. The colors are beautiful. The quality of the image is so nice, and I feel like this is just gonna be such a nice little thing for the guests. It'll also just like help them get their bearings a little bit about like where everything is on the property. So yeah, I love to see that Canva is stepping it up, having a couple more options. By the way, none of this was sponsored by Canva. I bought all of this myself, and all this is only $50, which in wedding money, it's nothing. Okay, we are about to head out to almost one of our last dance lessons. Our first dance classes has been honestly one of the best parts of wedding planning, because it's kind of like a built-in little like date night every week. You just go, our classes are 45 minutes, you practice your dance, you learn your dance, whatever you're doing, and it's just this really nice like undivided time. We often use our like wedding dance days to also like work on some wedding stuff after. So we're about to head to one of our classes, and then tonight we do have like some final wedding payments and emails and just stuff like that. Ours is a fully choreographed first dance. If you guys didn't know, I danced for like 20 years of my life, mostly ballet, contemporary. At the end, I did a little bit more hip hop and jazz and things like that. So doing a choreographed first dance is something I've always thought that I was going to do, and it has been so fun. I really missed dancing. I'm definitely going to get back into dancing after this. So at this point, our dance is fully done, and we did a 10 class package. I don't really think that was necessary, but we're enjoying it. So we just get a couple extra classes. So our dance is done. We're just gonna go work on it today, make sure we clean up anything. It'll also help us remember it a little bit more because it's still kind of like fleeting my memory a little bit. So, okay, look what I picked up today. My wedding dress. So this has been the most difficult part of the entire wedding process, has been my dress. So I thought I would sit and impart some wisdom about wedding dress shopping that I wish I had known. Because many of you know I have been engaged for a minute now. We got engaged in fall of 2023, and I actually found my wedding dress like spring of 2024, and it's now 2026. So I've had it for a minute. So I actually found my wedding dress when I was still back in Scottsdale, and I will be showing pictures of my wedding dress because at this point when you're watching this, I'm already married. But my number one piece of advice is whatever size you are ordering in your wedding dress, make sure you see a photo of what it looks like in that size, because when I tried on dresses, I think I tried on a 16 and it fit well in the bust, and then when they ordered my size, which was like an 8, the bust area was quite small. And honestly, looking back, it would have just been easier to order the bigger size and take in the waist. I know that seems difficult, but the amount of work that my alterations girl did on this dress, we will go through that now. Anyways, I picked up my dress in the fall. the bust area, your girl was not fitting, okay? It was like a B cup. Originally, I took my dress to an alterations place in Scottsdale, and they were like, oh, we can just like steam the cups out a little bit, like that'll work. And I'm like, okay, like what do I know? Like, I should have known better, but I was like, what do I know? Anyways, 3 months after dropping off my dress and paying for alterations, I haven't heard anything from them. So I called them. I'm like, what's going on? And they had never started my dress, which turned out to be a very good thing. Anyways, last summer we moved to LA. So I worked on finding an alterations place here. I went to one lady and she was like, we can just add some fabric to the bust area. And it was going to completely change the look of the dress. And I was like, I don't know, I'm not so sure. And then I found this alterations woman who does like this like emergency dress rescue. She makes dresses from scratch, but also like if you need alterations, she like fixes other people's bad alterations. And I was like, you know what? This is who I gotta see. And yeah, alterations are very expensive, but actually her quote was about the same as the other lady, who by the way, was in like Torrance. So I specifically tried to kind of look for alterations places that weren't like Beverly Hills, you know, like things like that. And up until this point, I felt like no one really understood the gravity of the bust situation except for me and my mom. We were like, I don't think steaming it out is going to be enough. Like it was completely just like flattening the girls. I was like, this is not going to work, except for this girl. And by the way, all of my wedding services, like everything for my wedding, I paid full price. Should I have leveraged my social media? But honestly, I didn't want to turn my wedding into work or deliverables, and that just like didn't sound like a good time. Everything in my wedding, besides like a couple little accessories, like, you know, a purse that someone sent me, like all the like traditional wedding stuff, like I did pay for myself. So after finally going to her, she finally understood. She was like, yeah, we need to like remake the entire bust area. And I was like, yeah, finally someone is getting it, that like this is not enough coverage. So she did all the pinning, she walked me through the process, and she very well prepared me for the first appointment, where she basically was like removing the entire top of the dress and rebuilding it to have more space. So we had tried it on, it was just like a sheer mesh, and I finally was fitting into the bust area without feeling super squished. She also had to like change the straps and a bunch of things. So we had that appointment. I was finally fitting into the dress and finally feeling like this was the right decision. Then the next appointment, she added the pleats back on. Like this was seriously so much work, to the point where I'm like, I may as well have gone custom with this wedding dress. Like that is how much work she put into it. So she added everything back in. I was still feeling like slightly squished, but then we added like a nice shaped cup into the bust area. They gave it some more fullness again. Then I wasn't going to add a bustle, but then our first dance got a little complicated, so then I did add a bustle. And long story short, I picked up the dress today. It's looking good. Thankfully, the material that my dress is made out of is very resilient and not very wrinkle prone. Like you could ball it up and it like won't even wrinkle, which you don't think about these things. Since we do have to fly quite a big distance to our wedding, I'm very glad that the fabric is resilient, because I bought a bag to put it in and I can kind of fold it up a little bit. Anyways, that's the long story long on my wedding dress. Okay guys, we have made it to the part of the wedding prep that is packing. So I'm working on packing my carry-on. I'm going to have, everyone's like, how are you going to fit everything for your wedding and your honeymoon in just like a carry-on and a checked bag? And I'm like, maybe I'll be eating my words, but it's just not going to be a problem. Like that's going to be so much space, and I have never needed, I'm not even a light packer, but I have never needed to pack more than one big check bag and like a little duffel. So I'm gonna have an entire other carry-on. So I feel like we're gonna have space. My mom was actually here last weekend and we already started packing. So I tried on all of my wedding outfits, figured out like what underwear and everything I needed and like bras for everything. Turned out I did not have a strapless bra. So I just ordered one from Third Love, and it's actually grippy like on the entire strapless part. Like this, my dental people, I was about to say the intaglio of a sports bra. Anyways, but it's not the silicone grippy, because there's a little silicone grippy at the top, but this is the one that I will be bringing for my welcome dinner dress. I also got this fun little camera that looks like a disposable camera, and it has like flash settings and filter settings, but it actually is digital and like copies to a memory card. So I do need to sit down at some point and figure this out. It's from Camp Snap, but I figured I would just like hand that to my friends throughout the night and be like, take some fun pics, and then we just have little memories. And then I've ordered a bunch of stuff in the past week, just because like this is why I started packing last weekend, so I would have time. So first of all, I wanted a pair of like fun little white retro-y sunglasses that would kind of, I don't know, like for like the pool day or something. I bought this travel steamer that is supposed to work. It's supposed to have dual voltage, so I need to try that out and see if it actually works. So this is what it looks like. I think I've seen these on TikTok Shop or something, and I'm pretty sure they also like, it like rotates but I guess that's where the water goes. I already have some packing cubes, but I ordered some more because I'll be bringing a lot of clothes, and I like the compression packing cubes, so I got this nice set of compression packing cubes, a fresh self-tan mitt for my wedding tan, this slightly more heavy-duty garment bag for traveling with my dress, so we will transfer her to here. And then for the reception, I'm changing into a cuter pair of heels, but they're like a higher heel, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to walk back to where we're staying in those shoes. So I was just thinking ahead, and I'm gonna have like an emergency bag on the wedding day, because like I'm not gonna be carrying around my own purse, but hopefully someone can carry around my emergencies. Like I have like a little fan. Anyways, I bought these little white flip-flops off Amazon. They got good reviews. They're called Project Cloud, and they have memory foam, and they just looked like cute, and they're white. Okay, yes, they are comfortable. So yay, we'll be bringing those. So I'm gonna get packing. I tried the steamer on my linen shorts. This thing works great. So we're taking it. It says it's dual voltage. It specifically says that you can use it in Italy. So is this essentially my entire summer wardrobe that I'm bringing? Yes, but vacation is the time for cute outfits. So we're gonna pack these up. I don't know if I'll bring everything, but we have a lot of options. Okay, I am basically all packed. All my stuff's in there with hopefully a little bit of room for shopping as well. Got my wedding dress packed up and we leave tomorrow. So I'm gonna end the vlog here so I have time to export it and everything to go live while I'm gone. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.